other governmental agencies who've taken the opportunity to review this. And I think the concern is more than, oh, we're going to implement these programs. If you're going to implement these programs now, well, what the heck was going on before? This is the day-to-day operation of your housing authority. And that's the concern. $8 million. The city of Medford's all over the news because $8 million, up or down, cannot be justified, substantiated, and if it can't, somebody has to pay for it. And it can't come, and it shouldn't come from the future people who want to become into the housing authority, whether they're physically handicapped, mentally handicapped, or just regular senior citizens. God forbid the feds put a stop on this programming until this gets itself resolved. Who's paying the price?
I think you may be, apparently you didn't listen to Mr. Fenton.
Mr. who?
Mr. Fenton.
I heard Mr. Fenton loud and clear. And what Mr. Fenton's talking about, I would have assumed, should have been ongoing practice. And if you don't have a procurement officer, shame on the board for allowing this.
That is why the audit was done, taking the steps to correct the problem.
Gene, you've been around a long time. This board's been around a long time. This has never, ever happened before.
As it says in Mr. Fenton's letter, anytime there's a change in management, everything should be revisited. And maybe the things were not revisited, but they're being visited now and they're being taken care of.
This audit was predicated on a written complaint, not a verbal telephone call, a written complaint. And somebody, whoever wrote that complaint, must have been aware that something wasn't going right within this department.
And it's proven in the audit. We're doing it. Nothing is ever perfect, and we're trying to correct everything now. Any other questions?
Through the chair, I'd just like to comment that the board is limited to what we can and can't do. We set policy. We don't run the day-to-day operations at all. I don't have hands-on to day-to-day operations. I set the policies, and they're supposed to follow what we vote on and agree on. We don't do day-to-day. I mean, I have my own job, but I do overlook the things that are being done here. And as soon as this came to our attention, we went to our attorney and asked him to look over and give us a hand with it. I'm not an expert, by all means, and I have to lean on somebody like our attorney who's very well in the housing authority business for a lot of years to give me advice. But to think that I saw the news, I saw the city council meeting last night. To think that we had some control over this, we didn't. We weren't aware of it. And the minute we were aware of it, we went and said, something's got to be done. We're not going to look the other way. There is difficulties here. And we asked Mr. Covelle to answer them. And we asked him to answer them by the 25th because he has to answer to HUD by the 30th. We want to look over and make sure everything's covered. That's the extent of what we can do. But I can't do the day-to-day operations of the housing authority. It's impossible. When I ask questions, I expect answers. And if I didn't get answers, then I would go to my attorney and say, I need an answer about this, and let him work on it. The attorney, Jeff Driscoll, is the Medford Housing Authority's attorney. He's not Bob Covelle's attorney. He's for the people. And, you know, he represents us, the board of directors. But to think that we had control over any of this, I'm sorry, it's truly, truly not fair. We had nothing to do with day-to-day operations or day-to-day operations.
And can I add one thing to what Sylvia said?